Who does the Bible say Shem is? And who does the Bible say Ham is? Zondern's Compact Bible Dictionary states that Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites.
Now, this description of Ham comes directly from the Zondervan Compact Dictionary. The Zondervan Compact Dictionary is a collection of scholars who study the Bible and who came up with this description. It is not a description that we here on the Black Excellence and Abundance channel came up with. These biblical scholars confirm that the Negroes are not descendants of Ham, which is widely taught. This means that the father or the progenitor of the Negroes has to be Shem, and it is obvious that Shem was also a black man or a dark-skinned man with descendants that are black or dark-skinned as well. By deduction, since Japheth is known to have been the father of the light-skinned or European people, that leaves us with Shem as the father of the Negroes. So no, folks, black people didn't just appear out of a puff of smoke. We didn't just appear from the transatlantic or the trans-Saharan slave trades. We were here from the very beginning, and we're still here. The question is, who are we really? Not so much who we were taught that we were, but who does the Bible, who does history, who does DNA say we are? And we're here to address this question. And trust me, this video is not anti-anybody. We're just stating the facts. And I ask and I question, and I really challenge anybody to just if you disagree, that's okay. Prove it. Just give us the proof that we're wrong, and we will gladly debate on that issue. We would look at any information that you would have. But again, we're coming with the receipts, as they say. We're bringing information that's backed by the Bible, that's backed by DNA, that's backed by science, and it's not anti-anybody.
Ham, according to the Table of Nations in the book of Genesis, which is the first book of the Bible, Ham was the second son of Noah and the father of Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan. Ham's descendants are interpreted by Flavius Josephus and others as having populated Africa and adjoining parts of Asia. The Bible refers to Egypt as the land of Ham in Psalms 78:51, 105:23, 27, 106:22, 1 Chronicles 4 and 40. When we read prophecy, we are made aware that the Israelites would discontinue from their heritage, forgetting who they are. Jeremiah 17, verse 4. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage, and that thine gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in thy land, which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in mine anger, which shall burn forever. But in the last days, the Most High will gather them from all the lands that they are scattered, and make them remember who they are. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. To identify who Israel are today, we have to use the scriptures to see what nation of people fit the prophecies and curses that befell Israel. Reading scriptures reveals 2 major captivities that Israel had to endure. The first was a 400-year captivity in the land of Egypt. Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And the second captivity, which involves slave ships, yokes of iron on their necks, and them becoming people so hated that they have become bywords and proverbs. The first captivity is recorded in the book of Genesis. The second captivity, on the other hand, gives us a clear proof who the children of Israel are today. Let's look at some of the signs that identify Israel today. Through thorough and extensive researching where the ancestors of West African slaves come from, I found that many of the tribes share an oral history passed down and even have copies of the Torah or Hebrew Bible that they state they brought from Israel. Some dispute this, and it is quite possible that some Africans did move to Israel and then back to Africa. Other tribes, as they are proclaiming, could have always been in Africa from the beginning. We were taught that black people in America descended from Ham. This teaching has been fed to the population over years. We descended from Ham and that Ham was cursed. However, there are some of the opinion that this was fabricated to justify slavery. The entire nation of Ham was not cursed, and only the biblical figure Canaan was technically cursed. And if you actually check the Bible, you will see the error in this conception. In the King James Bible, Genesis chapter 9, verse 25, it states, "And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren." The curses that will befall Israel if they did not follow the Most High, on the other hand, were, according to Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 4, the children of Israel would be discontinued from their heritage, language, culture, possessions, etc., which would leave the room for the question, since the children of Israel were discontinued from their heritage, how would they know who they are? And how do we know they exist? According to the Hebrew scriptures, the children of Israel are cursed by the sins of their fathers. Matthew chapter 27, verses 24 through 25, and scattered among all nations until the fullness of the Gentiles, non-Israelites, comes. See Romans chapter 11, verse 25, and Luke chapter 21, verse 24. These are the curses of disobedience. Remember, obedience is better than sacrifice. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 46. And they, the curses, shall be upon thee for a sign and a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. This shows us that these curses written in the scriptures would identify who the children of Israel are, because there would be no other way to identify them. Deuteronomy 28, verse 16. Cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall you be in the field.
Can someone please tell me what other people that you know have been cursed in the city and cursed in the fields?
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Luke 21, verse 24.
Can someone please tell me what other people could this possibly be that was led away captive into all nations, just like the Bible said? The 83rd Psalm, chapter 1, verses 1 through 8. Keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. According to the Bible, the following is a list of nations that conspired to cut off Israel from being a nation. In Psalms 83, from 6 through 8, it reads, The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asshur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot. So these are the nations that conspired to cut off Israel from being a nation. Now, I do have a few questions. In Matthew 24, 15 and 16, when Jesus admonished the people to flee into the mountains, who was he talking to? And who actually fled? The reason I'm asking, because in 70 AD, there's proof that hundreds of thousands, upwards of over 1 million people fled into the mountains of Africa during the Roman destruction of Jerusalem. And they fled all the way to the west coast of Africa, where they could flee no more, where they was captured, enslaved, and scattered throughout the world, just like the Bible said. the Apocrypha, in the book of Baruch, chapter 2 and verse 30, it says, "For I know that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves." Scientific proof was proven in the video done by Dr. Yosef Ben Ephraim. The E1B1A Y DNA haplotype is the founding lineage for the ancient Hebrew Israelite nation. Now, in Dr. Yosef Ben Ephraim's video, he proves scientifically that the E1B1A is what the so-called African Americans we have, that is our DNA, and the E1B1B is the Africans. So the E1B1A is the Shemites, the E1B1B is the Hamites, which proves that we are two different peoples. Although we are related, but we are different people, different DNA. We will include a link to his video. The following scriptures are some of the scriptures that we found in the Bible to support who the Hebrews say they were. Again, this is not who we say they were. This is who they say they were. Again, we invite everyone to please present your opposing views, because we do not want to be labeled as anything that we're not, because we are not anti-anybody. What we are, we're telling our truth, and we will gladly look at any information that you have to the contrary. The Black Excellence and Abundance channel, where Black history is every day.
Thanks for watching. We ask that you please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, thou art rich.